Hello, this is Chad Weber, and thank you for joining me on this video here today. Now, my goal is it's only going to take a couple of minutes. This is completely unscripted, by the way. My goal is to completely change your mind on something. I want this to be your aha moment, and you're going to finally understand why most realtor marketing strategies are absolutely doomed right from the start. And I'm going to show you a 100% fail-proof way. And by fail-proof way, I mean it's something that we have deployed in 7 different states and 18 different cities thus far with 100% success rate. So I'm going to show you what we've been doing that's been working over and over and over and over again, very duplicatable. So let's get right to the good stuff right away. So let me just break this down real quick because we don't even really need the slides here other than just the visual element. On the left-hand side and the right-hand side, these are the 2 mechanisms which drive success for a marketing strategy, regardless of what it is when it involves outreach. So on the left-hand side, we're talking about expertise and skill and all that good stuff, but really just think of the left-hand side as time, big time commitment, and on the right, volume. So less skill involved on the right, but you make up for the lower conversion rate and the less skill needed but through less time invested, and we're reaching more and more people. On the left-hand side, you're reaching much fewer people and you got a higher conversion rate, but you got to invest a whole lot of time. Now, how many of you have enormous amount of time to invest in something and you can sit around and wait 4, 6, 9, 10 months or more for something to start to pay off? You know, it just doesn't happen, right? If you start a new strategy, you need to start seeing results right away. So number 1 tends to be a non-starter for most loan officers. Where number 2, yeah, volume works, but ask yourself this: how many means or ways of reaching large amounts of realtors in any meaningful sort of way are you aware of that you could leverage with only a little bit of time invested? Not much, right? So we don't need to discuss coffee and donuts. You guys are smarter than that. I know you understand coffee and donuts and dropping off rate sheets. It just doesn't work. That's 90s stuff, and that stopped working a long time ago. Manually grinding your way to growth, again, we already know that doesn't work. Peaks and valleys, right? You can see here on the right, the roller coaster income ride, the daily 10, I call it a myth. It works if you're brand new and you have all the time in the world. But for those of you who've been loan officers for years and years, you got a million different hats you wear throughout the day. It's just not realistic. It's not consistent, and it doesn't develop momentum. So let's talk about what does. And I'm burning through this real quickly because I respect your time. I know you're busy, and that so far we're not talking about anything that you don't already know. But now let's talk about something that you're probably unaware of, and that is that email is a fantastic way to convert large amounts of realtors, but only if you do it the right way. And how many loan officers do it the right way? So far, I've met 0 in 22 years, and that's because of this on the right. If you didn't take your time to set up your SPF, your DCUM, your DMARC, as well as things such as BME, then you're dealing with an authentication problem. So what that means is you could send as many emails as you want to realtors, but the overwhelming majority, we're talking in the 90 percentile, are going straight to spam. So you have a less than 1% chance of them being seen. I worked with a loan officer who sent 39,000 emails, didn't get a single lead, not a single reply. They were all going to spam when we took a look at it. Fixed it, by the way, and 4 appointments in less than 2 weeks after we fixed it. We'll talk about that another time. Anyways, bottom line, guys, is it's a technical problem, is what it is. Is you have to build the infrastructure, you have to deploy from the proper platform, and loan officers are not doing that. Now, we could start talking about things such as domain rotations and warm-ups and validations and all these other things, but we're not going to get too technical today. But let's just look at this from an execution standpoint. Who's going to win this battle? You got 1 loan officer doing the daily grind, 10 a day, and you're sending messages to 1,000 targeted realtors every single day. So Monday through Saturday, because Saturday is a fantastic day, by the way, tested it a million times over, it works. 6,000 emails a week. That's 24,000 individual realtors you reached out to in 1 month. 24,000. You can target multiple cities if you like, doesn't matter. If your message is on point, if you're actually bringing value to the table, who's going to win that? My open ratio, by the way, tends to be if I'm having a bad day, down in the like 47 to 49%. On good days, I can be up to almost 70%. So if we average that out to 50%, 24,000 per month, that's 12,000 individuals saw your message. Who else can compete with that? When you're getting inboxed at such a high ratio because you're doing it the right way, because you've built a system that actually knows how to deliver. But let's go beyond that. I like to use something I call the surround sound effect, and that means multi-channel, multi-platform messaging. So and this is a concept that's even predates the internet. We know that repetition and multi-channel works. There is no debating that. So I like to use LinkedIn as an example in the DMs. But we don't send regular DMs. We send voice notes. And there's a way to automate that, by the way. But that is basically saying to them, hey, I'm not a bot. I'm not a AI platform. They know you're a real human. And we get about a 13 to 17% lift in our responses. And that's on both ends. Both platforms benefit from what we call the surround sound effect. So we know how to get them to reply. We know how to get them to hear your message. And when you have thousands of individuals hearing your message every single month, you can't help but win. Now, the key, though, is you have to bring value. We call it the home buyer amplification program, and we take the focus off of us. If you're there smelling of commission breath, going, my loan programs, I could do this, I could do that, they're going to walk away because they've heard that a million times before. But now imagine approaching them with this. What we do is we take their listings and we embed an AI, not just any AI. We embed a speaking AI. So it's not a chatbot. It actually talks, and you can talk back to it. You don't have to type a single key or button. You just talk to it. So they can even be driving and asking you questions about the home. Now, we train that AI on everything about that property. It knows more about that home and that neighborhood and that city than the agent does. And it can answer it on a dime. But we also train it on you, your loan program. So it's an expert on what you bring to the table. So it is spending its entire time asking questions, drawing them out, trying to figure out if they're a time waster or a legitimate lead. Think about that. When you showcase and show this off to a realtor, you take one of their listings and just do it and demo it. Because don't tell me, show me. That's the difference. Show them how cool it is. They go, yeah, you could do that to all my other listings. Do you know how many agents are going to say yes to that? So think about what you have now. Think about it. What's the number one advantage realtors have always had over loan officers? Listings. Because people shop backwards, ready, fire, aim. They don't go out and talk to you first and then go say, okay, now I'm going to look at properties. No, they find a home and go, wow, this is beautiful. Oh, no one's going to take me serious because I haven't talked to a lender yet. Crap. Now it's rush, rush, rush. But let's just embrace that, because we're not going to change that terrible behavior. So let's just embrace it, understand it, and let's wield those listings ourselves. Let's say you got 10 agents say yes. Each one has a handful of listings, 3 or 4. So now you have 40 different properties out there with these agents that are spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with their sole mission being to answer questions and capture the leads, and filtering out who's a time waster, who's an actual lead. Every single person it talks to, it captures that data, sends it to you. So when you speak to somebody, when you get the lead that is actually qualified, now you get to be the gatekeeper. You get to bring that to the realtor and say, hey, already qualified this person. They're ready. Here's how much they can afford. Now, do you think that agent's going to be appreciative? Do you think that agent now is going to get serious about sending you leads? And not just the trash man leads, not just the dumpster diving that's already been turned down everywhere. You're going to get good leads now. So now you're getting leads, though, because here's the problem. Is most realtor marketing strategies rely on the realtor taking action and sending you referrals. Otherwise, it's a waste of your time and you failed. But now it doesn't matter. Even if that realtor never gives you a referral, of course you want them to give you a referral, but if they don't, you're still generating leads from their listings. You're still, through that co-marketing effort, you're generating business, and that's what counts. You're closing loans. So now you have lead traps. It's the difference between throwing a fishing pole in the water versus a guy setting lobster traps, sets 20 of them out there, 30, 40 of them, comes back at the end of the day and they're all filled with lobsters, versus the guy standing there hoping something bites on his lure. Enormous difference. It's leverage, guys. We're leveraging when we're reaching out to agents, and we're leveraging once we reach them on both ends of the scale. And that's why this has worked 100% of the time. It's no comparison, no contest. No contest when you tap into volume and leverage. And we don't even rely on just a single platform. You know, you got Facebook out there, you got search engines, you got YouTube, Pinterest. We could tap into different sub niches such as relocations. There's so much that can be done. The bottom line is we have a transformation, we have a compounding effect because of the simple fact that we are taking a look at your market and customizing to the gaps in your local area. Now, you have two choices at this point. Now, what I've described here, it works. I'm sure you can see that already. You can understand the logic behind why it works. So you can either do it DIY. You have enough information to research, and over the next 3 to 6 months, yes, you could probably build something out. Opportunity cost, keep that in mind, or the done for you route. I've been training loan officers for over 22 years. I've trained thousands and thousands of them, and I've built hundreds of campaigns for hundreds of different mortgage companies and independent loan officer teams, including top producers. And these work time and time and time again. We know how to build them. We know how to make them work. And if you want to chat, very simple. Well, first of all, there's my phone number on this page, so you can send me a text. It's perfectly fine. I respond to texts. You can leave me a voicemail. That's fine too. But there's there's a lead form on this page. There's a form that basically leads to my market analysis. So here's what's going to happen. You fill that out, it brings you to a second page. You're going to see a calendar. So pick a time and date for us to chat, but it'll also ask you some additional questions. Please don't skip those questions, because those questions are to allow me to look at your marketplace so that when we chat, we have something to talk about. Because guys, I do not just work with anybody. I don't just assume that you need exactly this or exactly that. I understand you're not a monolith. You have your own challenges, your different markets, everything. I've been doing this long enough to know that it is smart. If we want results, we need to understand your market first, so that we're talking facts and not theory. I don't like theory. I like to know, and I know you do too. You want results. So let's do it the right way. Fill that out. Let's chat. And in the meantime, thanks for joining me today. Make it a wonderful rest of your day. We'll chat soon.